Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Quartet Lesson 11 Part 3 live stream. Today we're going to be covering Nはさておくとして、いずれにしても、とばかりは言えない。And that's it, just 3 sections tonight. These are the colors we use for each of the grammar streams. We have light blue for all of our new grammar points, and the other colors are for words that we haven't covered yet in Genki or Quartet, but which show up on the JLPT or that we feel are quite common, or that dictionaries feel are quite common, so are probably worth learning. If you have any general questions tonight about things related to Japanese, but not necessarily the section that we're on that you'd like Yuki and I to answer live on stream and not necessarily just someone in chat, make sure you put question in caps so that we don't miss your question. Also, at the end of each section, we have a question time where we ask you a certain question or give you a certain pattern, sentence pattern, that we want you to sort of give us an answer for. And please put Q time before your answers so that we know to read those out and correct them live on stream as well. The first section we're going to be covering tonight is leaving aside with noun wa sate oku to shite, or just noun wa sate oki. But this is a live stream, so as you know, all of our live streams are sponsored by the members of ToKiniAndy.com and YouTube and Patreon. So thank you so much for all of your support, guys. We really appreciate all of you. And also, since it's a live stream, let's go ahead and say hello to everyone and get Yuki over here to say hello to you as well. Good evening, Yuki.
みんなこんにちは。
Konnichiwa. How's it going, everyone? The first person here tonight was Hubert Yao. Thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate that. I have no idea what that currency symbol is. I've never seen it before, but thank you so much for 99 of it. Appreciate that a lot. What is it called? Pesos, ne? Hi, I've never actually seen that symbol. Awesome. Thank you so much, Hubert. All right, we've also got Come to Japan Dan. He says, go check out ToKiniAndy.com. It is totally worth it. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Samuel Stefanelli giving us a dab. Okay, how's it going? Kamiru Erika says hello. And Dashio says, Minna, hello. 楽しみです。お、俺も楽しみです。Jasmine for the win says, hey, hey, family. How's it going, Jasmine for the win? Good to see you. Kat requested that I make a video about teaching hiragana and katakana. Sorry. It's something I've considered doing in the past, but there are a lot of really, really great websites and apps out there already for it. So it's not super high on my priority list because I feel like there's other things that, I could probably explain better. Yeah, and I probably wouldn't be adding anything to the conversation with a katakana and hiragana video just because there's already so much great stuff out there that I'd really just be sort of leeching off of to make a video because why reinvent the wheel? But maybe someday when I have lots of extra time, I may consider making something like that just to get my whole beginner series sort of evened out. It's something I will be considering doing eventually, but probably not super soon. Sorry about that. And welcome, the cat. Thanks for stopping by.
ようこそ。
Kamiru Erika stopped watching Fairy Tale for this. I appreciate that. Hi, nice. Have we watched Fairy Tale? Have I watched Fairy Tale? 見てないよね。
アンニーは知らないけど、私は結構見てた。
I've always been interested, like when I see the covers of the manga and stuff. It looks like I would be into it, so I probably should watch that sometime. But anyway, thanks for reminding me about it. Quanta says, こんばんは、皆さん。こんばんは、Quanta. Thanks for stopping by.
こんばんは。
Crafty Hand says, videos won't help you learn the kata, or kana. Repetition is key. Yes, repetition is going to be helpful with those as well. Mnemonics, as someone else mentioned, are also extremely helpful for learning kana. That's what I did. I used mnemonics and repetition for hiragana and mostly just repetition for katakana. Both I found useful. Dan says Fairy Tail is one of his favorite animes. Nice. Malkov Maxim, konbanwa minasan. How's it going? Konbanwa, violin guy. Good to see you. Andy Sensei, Samuel. Bananas from Yuki in chat. All right.
みんなこんばんは。
こんばんは。
ようこそようこそ。
ようこそ。Hi. Tonight, I feel like the sections we're going to be covering aren't too difficult, but yeah, they're not too bad. Next week's only 2 sections, but it's a little bit more difficult, I feel like, than this week, in my opinion.
まあそう、ディフィカルトなんだけどね、日常生活ではあまり出てこない。
今日のやつ？
これは
あんまりね。
ちょっと出てくるけど。
これはさておくとして。
さておき。
まあね。
さておきくらいはたまに出てくるけど。
いずれにしてもは結構聞くよ。
まあ、違う言い方がね。
まあね。
の方は
どっちみち。
そう。
And other things like that.
Mm.
And then the last one was, what's the last one again? Let's take a look at that. But I'm talking about what I was saying was not that. Toばかりは言えない you don't really hear that much in conversation. Well, I was saying next week, として、とする, and other ones are harder to explain for me than these. These are not that difficult. Tonight's should be straightforward.
うん
But next week's, I don't know. Next week's are weird. There's no good translation for next week's. I don't like next
そ
week's
う
very much.
か
But I'll try hard to make it understandable by that time.
はい頑張ってください
One announcement I have to make is that usually for members of the website and Patreon and YouTube members, like the second tier, I think on YouTube, I release the stream cut on Monday, and like the day after the live stream, I release the stream cut. But I have a friend coming up for a couple days from Tokyo, so I'm not going to be able to do the stream cut most likely tomorrow. So the stream cut's going to be pretty late. So if any of you are members of the website or usually are waiting for that, please keep in mind
うん
that's going to be late.
すい
As
ま
well
せ
as
ん
some other things. Everything is going to get a little bit like the next standalone video is going to probably be about a week late. Some other things. It's Golden Week, so everyone's sort of, wants to hang out. So haven't seen people in a long time, so I'm going to do that. Violin guy says, I used hiragana and katakana to write letters with a friend who learned Japanese too. We used the kana to write in German. Wow, that's cool. As we understood the words, it was an easy exercise. Try it in your language. That's actually really cool. That's a good idea, Violin guy. I like it. Yeah, so using it to write in your own language to talk with people could be a very interesting way to practice them.
日本人かな大坪さんです
おつぼさん、こんばんは。How's it
こん
going?
ばんは、
はい。アンフィーさん。あ、
あ
髪の毛、ありがとうございます。
あみんなさ
ちょっと変
ね
化したね。どうですか
気づいたこう
どう思いますか
ヘアカットしたって
I forgot about the haircut. Thank you. I don't know how I forgot. It's quite different from last time. But yeah, I cut it off. No worries, Limpy. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and jump into it? We'll
は
get
い
Yuki back over here for the dialogue. We forgot to choose who's who again on the dialogue. I meant to do that before we started tonight, but we'll figure that out when we get to that
う
point.
ん
All right, excuse
私
me.
は今回のダイアログ
We have a question before we get
あ
started.
はいはい
その歌がわかるの? Is this sentence fine? A Japanese native once corrected this by dropping the no. その歌がわかるの?
その歌がわかるってこと
ってこと。
その歌わかるその歌がわかる
Yeah,
のドロップできると思います。
そういうことを聞いてないんですよね。
あ、しまった。
のがあってもいいって聞いてるんですね。
あ
あ
Once corrected this by dropping the no. のがあっていい。あっていいよね。
と思うけどね。
うん。
その歌がわかるの? Yeah, you can have the no. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's also fine to drop it. Both are fine, I think. The no may sound a little bit more feminine.
そうだね、そう。
So dropping the no would maybe not necessarily be masculine, but having it is a little bit more feminine, perhaps.
こ
Maybe.
の歌がわかるこの歌がわかるのなんかのがついてると、この場合もうちょっと、I'm kind of pretty sure you understand this one って感じ。なんかアシュアー感がある、その人に。
聞いてる人が、
そうそう。
そうだね。
この人知ってるかもの感じが。
Okay, I see. Yeah, having the no sort of has that nuance of you already, maybe they're singing this song. For example, they're singing this song next to you, and hey, you know this song? So that kind of, do you know this song? Having that no there makes a little bit more sense. It's like, oh, I understand. You know it, and I'm questioning, even though it appears to me that you do know it, I'm sort of confirming that. So, その歌がわかるの? Whereas not having it is just a basic question. So, その歌がわかる? Straight up.
そうだね。
You can do it in English.
わかりやすいやつだ。私にわかりや
These
すい
particles 1が kind of confusing. Feel like they can be swapped anytime. Ho ho, Swixer. Do I have good news for you? The next standalone video I'm working on is one that's been long awaited on this channel and that I've been sort of putting off for like a year. Wa versus ga. I'm going to be making that video probably next week. Like the next week. So
頑張っちゃうね。
hopefully it can give you hopefully that can be really helpful. But I'll break it down super easy and super quickly for you. It's not everything covered, but super simple. Wa, it puts all the emphasis on what comes after it. Ga puts all the emphasis on what comes before it. So ga always marks the subject. Wa marks a new topic, but mostly what it does is emphasizes what comes next. So for example, Andy wa what? 背が低い. I don't know. Andy's short. So the emphasis there is, you know that Andy guy? You know that Andy guy? He's short. The most important part of the sentence is he's short, right? But if we were to say Andy が背が低い, if we were to change it there, it's more like Andy is the person who's short. Okay? So that emphasis is the big difference with wa ga. Wa is putting the emphasis on the last part. He's short. Ga is putting the emphasis on who's short. Andy. So that's the huge difference between wa and ga. What do you want to talk about? What is your purpose in the sentence? If you just want to say Andy's short without emphasis anywhere, you just want to say a perfect statement sentence, you drop Andy and you don't have any particle at all. You just say 背が低い. That's it. That's just a straight statement sentence. You wouldn't have wa or ga in that sentence. So hopefully that makes sense. That's my first dry run on the short video that's going to be coming up, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on that video. Oh no. I could just cut out that clip and throw it. Done. No, I'm going to put a little bit more effort into that video. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense to you. Because they're not replaceable. They can't be. They're not interchangeable. Definitely not. They're quite different actually.
はい。
All right, let's go ahead and jump into it.
はい。
お願いします。
じゃあお願いします。
All right. Let me get a drink. All right. まだ大丈夫かな? All right, guys. You ready? Let's go. So our first section is leaving aside with noun はさておくとして. That's pretty long, right? You can shorten that whole thing too. Noun はさておき, which is just a shortened version of that whole thing. They both mean the same thing. Leaving aside something. Let's talk about this other thing. So it's sort of a way of changing the subject explicitly changing the subject. So yeah, to make it, you just have a noun, possibly a nominalized phrase. And wa, that's the wa particle, by the way. さておくとして. So we're emphasizing here that we want to leave it aside. さておくとして. The oku is to put aside or to place down. So let's put that over here. Put that over here. さておくとして. And let's talk about this thing. And the one below it is just a shorter version, which is more casual. So noun はさておき. So we're going to put that over here. And let's talk about the next thing. So aside from this thing, let's talk about this subject. You'll see in the example sentence is what I mean, obviously. So let's go to the first example sentence. We have 無駄話はさておくとして、そろそろ本題に入りましょう. So leaving aside the frivolous talk, it's about time we get into the real topic. So here we have 無駄話. 無駄話 is, frivolous talk. It's meaningless conversation. 無駄話. 無駄 is wasted or, a waste. And banashi is, of course, hanashi, a talk or a conversation or a story. So 無駄話はさておくとして, leaving that aside. そろそろ means it's about time. 本題に, so in the direction of the real topic. 本題に入りましょう. Let's get into the real topic. Alright, next one is テストの結果はさておくとして、授業中は先生の話をちゃんと聞いてください. So leaving aside the test results, let's put those aside. Please listen to the teacher during class, as you should. You should be listening to the teacher. So テストの結果, so the results of the test, は, that's the topic, new topic here, but what's being emphasized here is the さておくとして. Let's put that aside. Leave it aside, guys. 授業中, so during the class, は, and that wa here is emphasizing the next part. 先生の話, so what the teacher is saying. を, and it's the direct object of 聞いてください. And we have ちゃんと before 聞いてください. ちゃんと means as you should or as is proper or something like that. So please listen to the teacher as you should. Question time preview, we have the question time at the end of each section. That's not what this is. This is just showing you what's coming up in that question time, so you can sort of prepare for it in your head as we go through these sentences, instead of us getting there and you having to think of something really quick. You don't have to answer it just yet. Wait till we get to the end of the section, but this is an idea of what's coming. The question's gonna be, あなたのやりたい何々はさておくとして、今は何々をしなければいけないことは何ですか? So what the question is you have a thing you want to do, and that's 〇〇. And you're going to leave that aside because right now you have to do this other thing. Okay? So しなければいけない means I must do whatever this circle is, okay? So the first example, or the only example in the question type preview, there will be another one later, is 遊びたい予定はさておくとして、今は部屋を掃除しなければいけない。So I want to play, or I want to have fun. 遊びたい予定。My plans to have fun actually is what this is. So my plans to have fun はさておくとして、leave that aside, because right now, 今は部屋をSo the room is the direct object of 掃除しなければいけない。I have to clean my room. Okay, so you're going to come up with something like that for the question time when we get there. But our next example is この服のデザインはさておき、肌触りはとても良い。So aside from the design of these clothes, they feel very good on the skin. So you can use it this way too. This is obviously a more conversational はさておき. So it's cut down to the shorter version. We're still talking about the clothes here, right? So the topic hasn't entirely changed, but what we're done talking about is the clothing design. Now we're going to talk about how it feels. So you can use it in this way as well. So この服のデザインはさておき. So さておき. So we're going to leave aside talk about the design of these clothes. 肌触りは. So 肌触り is the feel on your skin, just how the clothes feels when you're wearing them. はとても良い. It's really good. Next section is 値段はさておき、この車は超かっこいいと思いませんか? So leaving the price aside, don't you think this car is super cool? So 値段は, so again, we're talking about the car. We're not changing the topic of the car here. We're still talking about the car, but we're talking about different aspects of the car. And we're going to leave one aspect aside using さておき. So that's 値段. 値段 is the price. はさておき. Put that over here. この車は, so this car is the new topic. 超かっこいい. It's super cool. と思いませんか? So don't you think that this car is super cool? Don't you think? All right. Next sentence is 美味しいかどうかはさておくとして、白子はとてもユニークな見た目です。So leaving aside whether or not it tastes good, 白子 has a very unique look. Indeed it does. Well, it just looks like a brain. But anyway, so this is not a noun you may have noticed, although かどうか can be treated as if it is a noun. かどうか means whether or not. And that's actually exactly what's happening here. We have an e adjective that is modified by かどうか, so whether or not it's delicious. That whole thing can be treated as a noun. Whether or not it's delicious. I don't know whether or not it is. はさておくとして, so we're not going to talk about whether or not it tastes good. It doesn't. Well, actually, the taste is not a problem. It's the feel of it. We're going to leave that aside. はさておくとして、白子は, so we're talking about 白子, とてもユニーク. So a very unique, obviously. Na, unique is an adjective, surprisingly. I guess that's not surprising. A lot of loan words like this are adjectives. Na, 見た目です. 見た目 is a common word that means the way it looks. The way something looks. It's a 変な見た目. It looks weird or something like that. Anyway, 見た目です. So it's a very unique look. Our next one is 妻の意見はさておいて、このゲームを買おうと思っている. So leaving aside my wife's opinion, I'm thinking I'll go ahead and buy this game. 妻の意見, so my wife's opinion. 意見 is opinion はさておいて. So you'll notice that we are using a different conjugation here. さておいて. So I'm using the te form here of a shorter version. さておいて. I'm going to leave that right there. And このゲームを, so this game is the direct object of 買おうと思っている. I'm thinking I'll go ahead and buy this game. 何はさておき、今は仕事に集中しなければいけない. So leaving aside everything else, I need to focus on work right now. So you can also use question words like this to mean leaving aside everything else or leaving aside everyone else, depending on what your question word is here. But here it's 何はさておき. So leaving aside everything else. Whatever you want to talk about, we're leaving all that aside. 今は, right now, 仕事に, in the direction of work, 集中しなければいけない. We must focus on work, or I must focus on work. Which brings us to the conversation. Let's go ahead and get Yuki over here. Yuki is going to be... Yuki は誰になりたいんですか? 最悪の人か最悪の人。どっちになるんですか?
両方最悪の人じゃないですか。
はいはい。Yuki じゃあ、A 君になる?
はい。
はい、Yuki は A 君です。
私 A 君なんだ。はい、わかりました。
よろしくお願いいたします。
どういうふうにデートを誘ったらいいのかな？マジ思いつかない。
A さんのデート攻略計画はさておくとして、明日忙しい？
攻略って、おい、言い方を変えてくれない？ C さんをゲームみたいになんて考えてない。俺の心は C さんだけに。
はい、はい。先週は D さんだけの俺の心だったけどな。
やかましいぞ。
Okay, we're gonna read it at full speed, then we'll break it down.
どういうふうにデートに誘ったらいいのかな？マジ思いつかない。
A さんのデート攻略計画はさておくとして、明日忙しい？
攻略って多い。言い方を変えてくれない？ C さんをゲームみたいになんて考えてない。俺の心は C さんだけに。
はい、はい。先週は D さんだけの俺の心だけけどね。だったけどな。
やかましいぞ。
Alright, breaking it down. We have お願いします。Could you read all these for us?
どういうふうにデートに誘ったらいいのかな？マジ思いつかない。
So I wonder in what way I should invite her on a date. I can't think of anything. So breaking it down, we have どういうふうにmeans in what way. どういうふうにデートに so in the direction of a date 誘ったらいいのかな? So I wonder in what way I should or could invite her on a date or them on a date. マジ思いつかない means マジ is like super思いつかない. I can't think of anything. So I can't think of anything at all. That Maji is really emphasizing it. Then we have
A さんのA さんのデート攻略計画はさておくとして、明日忙しい？
putting aside your dating attack strategy. You busy tomorrow? So you have A さんの so this is A さん 's デート攻略計画. So 攻略 means an attack or an attack plan or strategy. 計画 is just plan, of course. So your attack strategy for a date. はさておくとして so we're going to leave that aside. 明日忙しい? Are you busy tomorrow?
攻略っておい、言い方を変えてくれない？ C さんをゲームみたいになんて考えてない。俺の心は C さんだけに。
So we have 攻略って So attack strategy, you say? Oi, hey! 言い方を変えてくれない? Won't you change the way you put that? 言い方 is the way you put something. 変えてくれない? Won't you change it for me? C さんを So C さん now, the person we're talking about, C さん is the direct object of ゲームみたいに So like a game なんて考えてない Something like a game I'm not thinking of her as. So 俺の心は So my heart is C さんだけに Just for C. I will only give my heart to C or something. And then B さん says
はいはい。先週は D さんだけの俺の心だったけどな。
Okay, okay. Last week it was I'll only give my heart to D, but whatever. So we have breaking it down. Hi, okay, okay. 先週は So as for last week, D さんだけの俺の心. This is a quotation. It says, My heart is just for D さんだったけどな. And that's what it's just the past tense. It's only that, but whatever.
やかましいぞ。
Yakamashi, you'll hear this one in anime a lot. It's shut up, man. All right.
まあ、簡単に言うと take it back という。
Take it back. Tell him, take it back. Take it back. Shut up. Which brings us to question time.
はい。あなたのやりたい〇〇はさておくとして、今は〇〇をしなければいけないことは何ですか？
So we want us to tell you your thing that you want to do, but that you have to put aside because you have to do something else right now. So this is what I want to do. やりたい〇〇はさておくとして So we're going to put that aside. 今は So right now. Something をしなければいけない. So you just need to fill in these circles. And you don't have to have やりたい, of course. But we do have 遊びたい or きたい. So the thing you want to do 〇〇はさておくとして. Like this one.
遊びたい予定はさておくとして、今は部屋を掃除しなければいけない。
So the plan I had that I 遊びたい予定. So my plan to want to play or have fun はさておくとして. So we're going to leave that aside. 今は So right now 部屋を So the room is the direct object of 掃除しなければいけない. I have to clean the room.
着たいドレスはさておいて、今はスーツを着なければいけな
So
い。
this is a little bit of a shorter version of this, but means the same thing. 着たいドレス. So the dress I want to wear はさておいて. We're going to put that aside. 今はスーツを着なければいけない. Because right now I have to wear a suit. So how about you? Something you want to do? But you have to put aside because you have to do something else. Please tell us about that. Now, and welcome to the stream, Ash4. How's it going? Thanks for stopping by.
はい、ようこそ。
If you're still hanging out with us tonight and you're enjoying yourself and you want to help out, please consider hitting the like button. It helps get this stream out to other people who might find it interesting. And it makes us feel good. So please consider smashing that thumbs up button. Thank you very much.
はい、お願いします。
Yuki は何でしょうかね?
そうね。あ、食べたいチョコレートはさておいて、
はい。
夕ご飯の支度をしなければいけない。
I'm going to put aside the chocolate that I want to eat because I have to prepare for lunch right now. For me,
夕ご飯だから。
dinner ね。はい。For me, なんだろう。俺は休みたいことはさておいて、来週の仕事の準備しなきゃいけない。できない仕事。だって来週仕事できない最初の半分ね。
やばいね。
でもいいんじゃない？
お、
Alright, we have a cue time from Quartet.
はい、ありがとうございます。
お願いします。
眠い感じはさておき、今起きて学校に行かないとダメ。お
そうだね。I have to put aside my feelings of sleepiness. 眠い感じはさておき。Right now, I have to wake up and go to school.
遅刻
You're gonna be late.
遅刻す。でも大丈夫か。今日日曜日だから。
そうそうそう。
よかったよかった。
今の話じゃないね。
よかった。
忘れないでね。全部現実の話じゃなくて。
そうみんなね。
作り話うまいですよ、みんな。Alright. Matt and S, I didn't see what you said, but welcome to the live stream. Lumpy as well. You never left, but
クオンタさんにその眠い感じっていういい言葉があるので言いたいです。
どうぞ。
眠気かな。
眠気？いいね。眠気。
眠気。
So Yuki has a good word to use in place of 眠い感じ。眠気。Which you can use as a noun.
眠気。
眠気。Read like that.
はい。
So you could use that there. So 眠気はさておき。Of course, you could say it the way you said it, no problem. But this word would maybe be even better.
かな。
そう。はい。
じゃあ。
ちょっと難しいのかな？わかんない。
そっか。
まあまあ。
ちょっと難しかったかな。
We have one from Malkov Maxim.
難しくなかったかも。はい、ありがとうございます。友達とビールを飲みたい予定はさておくとして、今はもっと勉強をしなければいけない。
Oh no!
いいですね。
So leaving aside wanting to have beers with my friends, my plans to have beer with friends, I need to study more right now.
ビールを飲みながら勉強する。
それはならないよね。勉強にはならない。やってみたことあるんだよ。なんかビール飲みながらちょっと暗記やろうって思えば不可能。
でもなんかさ、
次の日は忘れちゃうし。
暗記をちょっとしてからなんかビール飲む。
まあでも友達とそれはできないんじゃない？
そっかそっか。
Or you could make all your friends turn Japanese or find Japanese friends and then go have drinks with them, and that counts as studying, sort of. If you're speaking English. Japanese. It's Wilhelm Bergqvist. How's it going? Welcome to the stream.
ありがとうございます。テレビゲームをするのことはさておくとして、今週は忙しいです。今週は忙しいんだ。
Busy week. You have to put aside the video games. One thing you want to keep in mind there is, since this is the wa particle, right? Excuse me. To use the wa particle with something, it has to be a noun. Excuse me, gosh. So you have to nominalize that phrase there. So, テレビゲームをする. You want to nominalize it with either no or koto, as Yuki said, and then you're fine. Otherwise. All right.
グッドです。
Violin guy, it's a good time.
楽しみにバイオリンを弾くのはさておくとして本気で練習しなければならないコンサートがあるの
いいで
かな。
すね。So leaving aside just having fun playing the violin, I need to practice for real. Right, nice.
それ本当のやつじゃん。
頑張ってください、violin
はい
guy.
頑張ってください。
Good sense.
はい。
Vin Fox.
友達とお出かけはさておくとして選択しなければならない。
Oh no. はい。友達とお出かけ。
そう。
So if it's the
出かけ
noun, it's going to
は
be 出かけ is from a verb. So it's 出かける。So 出かけること you could
そうそう
say.
そう、
友達と出か
出かける
けることはさておくとして。Or you could just say, use the noun version, which is お出かけ。And then that would be fine. So 友達とお出かけはさておくとして、選択しなければいけない。Or not a nice fine, of course. Or nominalize it with no or は and the full verb, right? 出かける
出かけるの
は、or 出かけることは。And you'll be fine.
はい。
Good job. Loopy.
頭痛はさておくとして働き者なので仕事に行きます。
頑張ってください。
それさておいちゃいけないやつ
大
じゃん。それはさておかない方がいいのではないでしょう
So
か。
leaving aside my headache, I'm a hard worker, so I'm gonna go to work. はい。So Yuki was just saying, let's see, the one thing you want to change there is the 働き者なので、働き者、yeah, before no de, for nouns and adjectives, you want to have the not before no de. So 働き者なので仕事に行きます。
ナージェクティブじゃないけどね。
I understand. I said nouns and adjectives. So
そう
for nouns and adjectives before no de, you need not.
はい。
はい。
じゃあ大丈夫です。
Okay, nice job. That was quite a few
みんな
answers.
す
We have
ごい
one,
ね。
two,
やっぱり
three,
大丈夫だ
four,
ったわ。
five, six. 素晴らしい。6人も
ありがとうご
答えてくれました。
ざいます。
ありがとうございます。That's probably about as many as we're gonna get.
まあね、全然出していただいても、
ね、そう。You
後
can
々でも大丈夫
go ahead
で
and
す。
send out as many as you want, and we will get to them at the end of the next section.
はい。
わかった。はい。
はい。
ルピさん、looking for a job? All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the next
はい。
section, and we'll get Yuki back after that. はい。
はい。
お願いします。All right, our next section is fun. It's in any case with いずれにしても、せよ or しろ. So you can change that last part to either of those three. しても is the most conversational of the three, surprisingly. Like just looking at it, in my opinion, just looking at it without knowing what it was before, it feels like いずれにしろ or いずれにせよ seems less formal. To me, just looking at it without knowing it from the beginning, right? But that's not the case. いずれにしても is the more casual, conversational version of this, and せよ and しろ are the written versions of in any case, or either way, or regardless of what way it will go, I have to do this anyway, something like that. So it sort of presents a new situation in the way that there's a few different ways this could go, but regardless of that, I have to do X. And X is whatever comes after いずれにしても or せよ or しろ. And remember, せよ is and しろ are written versions of this. You're not going to really hear those in conversation. いずれにしても can be used in either speaking or writing. And it's just a phrase on its own that usually comes at the beginning of a sentence or in the middle like this. So let's go ahead and break down this sentence. We have この状況ではいずれにしても人手が足りないから手伝いを呼びましょう. So in this situation, we don't have enough manpower in any case. So let's call for help. So that's in any case. That's いずれにしても. So この状況では. So in this situation, この状況, in this situation we're in, いずれにしても in any case, 人手が足りない. 人手 is manpower. が足りない. 足りる means to have enough of. 足りない means to not have enough of. So we don't have enough manpower anyway, or in any case. That's the いずれにしても part. から, so 手伝いを, so 手伝い is help. を direct object of 呼びましょう. Let's go ahead and call for help. All right, we have a longer sentence here. We have 一つもリュックがないからいずれにしても来週の登山用に新しいリュックがいります. So I don't have even a single backpack, so I need a new backpack for mountain climbing next week anyway. Breaking it down, we have 一つも, so not even one. リュックがない, so that 一つも, that mo plus a ない is not even one. から. So I don't even have one backpack. Ryuk is a backpack. So, いずれにしても, in any case, 来週の next week's 登山用に, so 登山 is mountain climbing, so for mountain climbing に in that direction, 新しいリュック, so a new backpack がいります. I need a new backpack for mountain climbing next week in any case, because I don't even have one. Literally going backwards. All right, question time preview. Remember, this is not to be answered right now. It's just to give you an idea of what's coming up in the next question time. And it's going to be, あなたのいずれにしろ起きるする予定は何ですか? So what is some plan or something that's going to happen around you, no matter what? Like, regardless of all the other things you have to do, this is the one thing that you definitely have to do. What is that thing? So, for example, いずれにしろ来月は病院に行く予定です. So, no matter what happens, in any case, I have to go to not the library, to the hospital, or I have a plan to go to the hospital next month, right? Next example sentence is, いずれにせよ, excuse me, one more time. いずれにせよ, why is that so hard to say? My tongue is twisted. いずれにせよ, いずれにせよ. テストに申し込んでいるから、今からでも勉強した方がいいですよ. Ooh, that was not fun. Anyway, in any case, you've signed up for the test, so you should start studying even from now, you know. So breaking it down, we have the written version here of いずれにせよ. Why is that so hard for me to say? I have no... You guys try saying it? Can you guys try saying it wherever you are and see if it's a tongue twister? Yuki, go ahead.
いずれにせよ.
Of course, you have no problem with that. Anyway, いずれにせよ. For some reason, that れにせよ. いずれにせよ. いずれにせよ. That is really hard for me to say. いずれにせよ. Woo! I want to say いずれにしよ for some reason. いずれにせよ. Woo!
よかったね。違う言い方があって。
そうだね。いずれにしても。That's my one. はい。Maybe that's why this one's written. Anyway, so in any case, テストに申し込んでいる. So you are signed up for a test. So, から。今から from now, でも So even from now, 勉強した方がいい. You should study ですよ. And we're emphasizing that to them. You know, you should really start studying now because you already signed up for that test. いずれにせよ. 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 Okay, got it. Let's see if this one's easier to say. Another written version we have いずれにOh, that one's hard too. いずれにしろ. いずれにしろ. また来週歯医者に行くことになるでしょう. So either way, I will probably end up having to go to the dentist again next week. No matter what happens here, I gotta go to the dentist next week. いずれにしろ. Okay, また来週. So next week again. 歯医者に, so in the direction of the dentist, 行くことになるでしょう. I'm gonna probably have to go to the dentist next week as well. So that なるでしょう is the probably, or I think. 行くことになる. It's gonna become a situation where I need to go to the dentist again next week, regardless, probably. And we have A talking here. It says, 部長にさらに仕事を頼まれた. どっちみち今日は残業しなければ帰れないし、頑張るか. So the department head asked me to do even more work. I can't go home unless I do overtime anyway, so I might as well do my best. All right, breaking this one down, we've got a super Japanese sentence here. It's 部長に, so in the direction of 部長, so from them, from the department head. さらに, so even more. 仕事を, so work is the direct object of 頼まれた. I was requested to do more work from 部長. どっちみち, so どっちみち, this is not one that was brought up in the beginning of this section, but it means exactly the same thing. いずれにしても in conversation is said even more frequently as どっちみち, どっちみち or どちら. どっち is the shortened version of どっちみち. So this is a very conversational いずれにしても. So regardless or anyway or either way, 今日は, so today that's the topic emphasizing this part, 残業しなければ. So if I don't do overtime, 帰れない. I can't go home. し, since I can't go home anyway, I guess I might as well 頑張るか. I guess I'll go ahead and do my best. Here we have a child and their mother talking, and the kid says, お母さん、シャンプーがなくなったから買いに行きたいな. Mom, we ran out of shampoo, so I want to go shopping. どっちにしろ今日買い物に行くからドラッグストアにも行こうか。So I'm going shopping today anyway, so we might as well go to the drugstore too. So here's another phrase that is just like いずれにしても and どっちみち that is very more common in conversation than any of those, and it's どっちにしろ but it means exactly the same thing. So お母さん so mom シャンプー is shampoo がなくなった so it's disappeared, we're out から so 買いに行きたいな I want to go to the store or go buy some or yeah go shopping どっちにしろ so in regardless or in any case 今日 today 買い物に行く I'm going shopping so からドラッグストアに so in the direction of the drugstore にも also 行こうか why don't we go ahead to the drugstore as well. And that brings us to the dialogue. Let's get Yuki back over here. I believe Yuki is A.
はい。
はい。
それで明日は何かあるの？
いや、街に行きたいんだけど、車に乗せてってくれないか聞こうと思って。
そうか。まあ、いずれにしても街に用事があるから乗せて行ってあげるよ。
サンキュー。
明日は街で何する予定？
秘密。はい、ポースピード。
それで明日は何かあるの？
いや、街に行きたいんだけど、車に乗せてってくれないか聞こうと思って。
そうか。まあ、いずれにしても街に用事があるから乗せて行ってあげるよ。
サンキュー。
明日は街で何する予定？
秘密。Alright, breaking it down, we have.
それで明日は何かあるの？
Anyway, do you have something tomorrow? So, それで is anyway, or in any case, or, and then, 明日は so as for tomorrow, なんかあるの? You have something?
いや、街に行きたいんだけど、車に乗せてってくれないか聞こうと思って。
Nah, I want to go into town, but I was thinking I'd ask you if you'd mind driving me in. So, いや、街に行きたいんだけど so this んだけど is the explanatory one, and it's 街に行きたい I want to go to town. 車に so in the direction of your car or in your car 乗せてってくれないか so I was won't you let me drive in your car, let me in your car or take me in your car か so that's the question, marking it as a question 聞こうと思って so I was thinking I was gonna ask if you wouldn't mind letting me in your car to take me to town. That's what's implied here.
そうか。まあ、いずれにしても街に用事があるから乗せて行ってあげるよ。
I see. Well, I have something to do in town anyway, so I'll bring you in, man. そうか. I see. まあ, well, いずれにしても in any way, in any case, 街に用事がある. So I have something to do in town. 用事 is like just something that I have to do, personal thing to do in town から. So 乗せて行ってあげるよ. So I'll go ahead and drive you in for you is the あげる part. よ. Thank you. It's just thank you. はい。
はい。明日は街で何する予定？
What are you planning to do in town tomorrow? 明日は街で so in town, utilizing town. 何する予定? What's your plan to do?
秘密。
It's a secret. Okay. Question time.
あなたのいずれにしろ起こるする予定は何ですか？
All right, so no matter what happens, in any case, you have to do this thing or you have a plan to do this thing. What is that thing?
いずれにしろ来月は病院に行く予定です。
Regardless of what happens, or in any case, I have to go to the hospital next week. 来週は so next week, or 来月は next month. 病院に in the direction of the hospital 行く予定 I have a plan to go です。
いずれにしろ来年はおばあちゃんが日本に遊びに来る予定です。
So, regardless of what happens, or in any case, 来年 next year はおばあちゃんが my grandmother 日本に in the direction of Japan 遊びに来る予定です。So she has a plan to come to Japan to hang out. So how about you guys? What is something that's going to happen regardless of the situation for you? The first thing I want to cover quickly is not that hard. 頑張ってください。ありがとうございます。Dashiell Baker has a cue time from the last section, I think. Oh no, it's from this section. Okay, sweet.
はい。
So Dashiell has one for this one already.
はい。いずれにせよ、年末か来年には日本に行く予定です。すごいよ。So
regardless of anything or in any case, I plan to go to Japan either at the end of the year or next year. Sounds good.
ねえ、もう鎖国マジやめてほしいね。
ですよね。はい、頑張ってください。Lumpy also has a question time.
私もこれはいずれにせよが難しいんだ、きっと。
言ったことは難しい。いずれにせよ。今日、I was able to say it there. いずれにせよ。I guess that practice helped. 今日はいずれにせよ。いいことを練習したい。なるほどね。はい。じゃあ、that is question time plus an answer to my question from before. なるほどね。
なるほど。
じゃあ、読んでもらおうか。
はい。私もいずれにせよ。言うことは難しい。いずれにせよ。今日はいずれにせよを言うことを練習したいかな。
はい。Nice. So let's just clean that up there. We have the O particle after the first いずれにせよ。So 私もいずれにせよ。
と、コーテーションマーカ
ー。言うこと。
そう。
ということ。So the thing which is saying いずれにせよは難しい。It is. So that's fine. So you want to make that the present tense. 言うこと。で、いずれにせよ。今日はいずれにせよ。を、
と、
と、いうことは、を練習したい。
はい。そっちはをで。
いうことを練習したい。Nice. Okay, so you just want to make those present tense and it'll be fine.
コーテーションの後は、とがあった方がいいかな。
After quotation, you generally want the to particle.Alright, nice, Limpy.
いい感じです。頑張ってください。
いずれにせよ。いずれにせよ。
よかった、いずれにせよ。
できるようになったかも。
いずれにしろ。2ヶ月後に新しい仕事を始める予定です。
So when we're talking about times here, you'll generally go 新しい仕事を始める. Since it's a time you're going to start the work, you'll want to use the ni particle. If you were working from now until that date,and you're going to finish on that date, you could use で to point out that date. 5月30日で仕事を辞めます or something like that. That would be fine. But since you're going to be starting something new on that date and from that date, you go with the ni particle. So いずれにしろ2ヶ月に後に新しい仕事を始める予定です。Okay, so yeah, you just have to change that で to に and you're good. Yeah, just the to particle lumpy and all good. And also change the past tense to the present tense. Just you. Malkov Maxim, Q time. いずれにしろ。
はい。いずれにしろ。今日から次の180日間に試験を予定して合格する予定です。すごい。張り切ってるね。でも6ヶ月、半年か。180日間って半年。
まあJLPT のディセンバー12月バージョンかな。バージョン。JLPT in December is maybe what you're talking about? I'm not sure. Maybe a different test. Who knows?
でもいけそうじゃない？そういうこと言っちゃダメだね。
いずれにしろ。So regardless of anything that happens, either way, I'm going to be doing 今日から from today 次の180日間 So for the next 180 days、に試験を予定して、I'm gonna plan on a test、合格する予定です。And I'm gonna pass it.
いやもう頑張ってください。
Wonderful.
すごーい。
Owen Veilinga has a Q time.
はい。いずれにしろ。毎日猫さんを出かけさせて、彼を隣人の庭でうんちさせちゃダメかな？させなくちゃダメなの。お隣さん家の庭で。
させな、I think it's させなくちゃダメ is probably what he's going for. It means you must do that. だよね？You want to do that. だと思うよ。 So, いずれにしろ。So, regardless of what happens, 毎日, so every day, 猫さんを出かけさせて、let my cat go out. 彼を
隣人の庭で
in the in the garden next door でうんちをさせなくちゃダメ so I have to let him what you're saying here is I have to let him poop in the
his garden でしょ
in the garden next door yeah you have to if you want to say you can't let him but he's covered in his eyes so I think he has to
そっか、ね、知らないことにしとかないとねじゃあ
何もわかんないって感じ、
勝手にね猫さんが勝手にやられてるだけですのでね、そう私たちにはアウトオブコントロールということで
その通りwe found cat poop when we did the garden yesterday 昨日やったっけ
そう
I found a bunch in the
ね
こっちの
そうなんか
隣道で
多分ね猫さんがね誰か私たちの
立
庭を
派なうんちだった
なんかトイレに
すごくで
してるよ、ね、
かかった It was a big one
それ猫じゃないじゃない
いや猫だった人のレベルじゃない猫だったけれど
すごい頑張ってるんだもん
Eaten well Yes that's exactly I have to otherwise Cue time from Claren いずれにしても
はいいずれにしても会社の周りに引っ越さなちょっと待っていずれにしても会社の周りの場所に引っ越さなければいけないか引っ越しなければいけない
Either way, yeah. So いずれにしても会社の周りの場所 So you want to finish off that no string の場所に So in that direction、you can use 引っ越し there as a noun and say しなければいけない、by the way, you don't need the kanji for 行く because it's a slightly different、I guess you could それいいの、本当はないよね
本当はひらがなですね
Yeah, you want to write that with ひらがな But either way、so you can use 引っ越ししなければいけないor you can use the verb for 引っ越す which is 引っ越さなければいけない、either way is fine there
はい
Alright, could be a raccoon or tanuki. Yeah, probably not. Like, I have seen tanuki in town, but not this far into town. We don't really have... There's really nowhere for tanuki to come from where we live. We're right in the middle of the city. So I have a garden, but like we're in the middle of like a bunch of huge apartment complexes. Think Up. Think the movie Up. We live in like the house from Up. We're right in the middle of a bunch of big buildings. You know, so like there's no tanuki around here, unfortunately. Like I've said, I've seen tanuki in Nagano City, but like on the other side of the river where there's a lot of fields and tambo, we don't have anything like that here. There's no room for that. So,
そうだね。
Wilhelm has a question time.
いずれにしても明日テストがあるから私は勉強しなければなりません。
So you want to emphasize that not if you put ga there, it emphasizes you. I have to study. But you want to emphasize that you have to study. So 私は勉強しなければなりません. That's fine there. So regardless, I have a test tomorrow, so I have to study. Nice. いいえ、仕事のために試験です。Okay. 日本語の試験は早すぎると思います。You could probably do pretty good actually, considering all the sentences you're making here. But fair enough.
3ぐらいはいけるんじゃない
In 3? Probably. No problem. But I think I know that what cats are capable to leave. It could be a cat. I'm pretty sure it's a cat. I've seen the cat multiple times in the garden. So pretty sure it's the cat.
ね、パティオでね、ゆっくりしてるよね、なんかたまに。
Yeah, sometimes he'll be sleeping on our patio, just chilling out. It's a noraneko. It's a, what do you call those?
Stray cat.
Stray cat, yeah. But like stray cats and noraneko, there's a slight difference because like there's places in each town that are designated to feed stray cats, right? And they like cut their ears so that they know they're stray cats and they let them go in the town and they live in the town and then they go to someone's house every day to eat and that person's in charge of feeding the cats. So it's like a welfare state for cats. It's pretty hysterical. Kind of nice.
地域猫と呼ばれるね。
But he's eaten multiple pigeons that have been like landing in our garden in the past. Well, he caught one. I don't know if he caught more than that. He caught one and that one was done. He's tried to catch a few others. We're not sure if he's actually caught any more. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that cat. And there's one other one, but he doesn't really go over there. He comes walking along the wall. But anyway.
でもね、今のところでさ、
So
あ
they're
そ
feeding
こ
them over
で
there.
さ
But
だ
that's
よ
I don't
ね。
think that's like I don't think they actually 任務じゃないと思う。それあれ。
まあそうそう。
多分好きに。
だけど多分あそこ
So
がご
they
飯
they
の
eat
場所
over
なんだ
there,
よ
so he
ね、
comes
き
to
っ
hang
と。
out here. Yeah. MS, welcome to the stream and thank you for the queue time. Let's check it out. We
はい。
have
いずれにしても私は日本語上手ですねというフレーズを受け入れられるかな。と
言われる
あ、
かな。
言われるね。
言われるって言いたいよね。
そうだ。
You'll want to use the passive for you, which is 言われる。いずれにしても私は日本語上手ですねというフレーズを言われる is what you want to say. 言われる。
多分ね。
Or sometimes 言われる in conversation. You'll hear it said in the second phrase a lot. Okay. One other thing that I didn't put in the lesson, but that is very, very similar to this いずれにしても or どっちみち or anything like that is also super conversational, super casual, but どうせ
そうですね。
どうせ私はどうせ日本語上手ですねと言われる日が来るとか。Phrase like that would probably be どうせ is a very casual conversational version of this. Something you might want to write down somewhere.
まあでもどうせはちょっとネガティブな。
Yeah, it's a little bit negative.
ネガティブかな。
But you could think of that 日本語が上手ですねというフレーズを言われるのがちょっとネガティブだからどうせは使えそう。ちょっとね。
一応ね、日本人サイドから言わせていただきますと、
はい、
日本人の
褒めている。
そう
褒めているはずなんだけれど、
人たちはもうピュアよ。
そう。ただしね、こんにちはって言われるときには、日本語上手って言われちゃうと、Hello しか言ってないんですけれど、ね、っていう風に感じる外国人も存在します。
まあそうだよね。
はいはい、
そう。
俺はどっちっていうか、どうでもいい。
まあ、
言われると嬉しい。言われなくても大丈夫。うん。言われても問題ない。気にしない。ちょっと笑うぐらい。心の中にちょっと笑って。あ、出た。ぐらい。
そうですか。
そうそう。
でも日本人はそれ知らないからね、みんな。
そうそうそう。
でも本当に 100% でみんなのこと褒めてるから、日本人たちは。
They really are praising you. But yes, you will probably hear it. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next section, which is not necessarily. All right. This is one of those phrases that you're probably not going to hear very frequently in conversation. Not a whole lot. There's a few phrases like this in Quartet that, you know, they're not super common in conversation. They're much more book related, especially in Quartet 2. There's a few though in Quartet 2 that, like the last one or the very first one in this lesson, are fairly common in conversation. Like last week's lesson, we had kanenai, which like that one you hear a lot, especially if you're reading books or watching, you know, TV or anime or whatever. When a character's doing narration or exposition, it shows up a lot. So there are plenty of things in Quartet 2 which are very common in conversation, but this is not one of them. This is not necessarily とばかりは言えない。とばかりは言えない。It's very similar to or almost identical to とは限らない, which we learned a couple lessons ago, which means it's not necessarily. It means the same thing, right? It means in Japanese, the definition of it is ではない場合もある. So there's situations where this is not the case. So this thing that seems to be obvious, there's situations where it's not the case. So to use it, we attach it to the short form of a verb. So a phrase that ends in the short form of a verb, dictionary form usually. E adjective on its own. Doesn't need anything between it. An adjective will have da or de aru between it and とばかりは言えない. And a noun can optionally have da, so it doesn't necessarily need it. You could just have noun とばかりは言えない or であるとばかりは言えない. So you can't necessarily say that noun or verb or something. There are situations that are not that way. So for example, we start off with any adjective. We have 今はテレビの情報が必ず正しいとばかりは言えない時代です. So it is an age when you can't necessarily say that everything on TV is correct, for sure. So 今は, so right now, テレビの情報, so the information on TV, が, that's emphasizing that whole thing, making it the subject, 必ず正しい, so without fail, correct, とばかりは言えない. So you can't always say that everything on TV is correct without fail. 時代です。So that whole sentence modifies age. 時代です。So it's the age or the time in, history when not everything you hear on TV is necessarily correct. And I'm sure that all times in history have been that way. But anyway, 高級なものがいいとばかりは言えないでしょう. So I think that's the でしょう that you can't necessarily say that とばかりは言えない. Expensive things are good. You could also rephrase this as とは限らない. So 高級なものがいいものだと限らない or something like that, right? Question time preview. This is once again just to show you what's coming up in the question time so you can prepare for it. So we have 〇〇は健康にいい、悪い some other adjective とばかりは言えないと思っているあなたの意見を教えてください. So please tell us something that you think is not necessarily always good for health or not necessarily always bad for health or some other adjective in relation to health. For example, 卵のコレステロールは健康に悪いとばかりは言えないと思います. So I think that cholesterol in eggs is not necessarily always bad for health. So how about you? When we get there. Next one is 一人暮らしはいつもいいとばかりは言い切れない. So you can't just say that living alone is always good. You'll notice a little difference here. We have とばかりは言えないんじゃなくて not that. We have とばかりは言い切れない. Means the same thing. It's just another way of saying. You can't just stop and say that something is this case. Means the same thing. So 一人暮らし living alone は the topic. いつも all the time いい So it's always good. とばかりは言い切れない. You can't just say that living alone is always good. 大学に行った全員が勉強ができる人たちであるとばかりは言えないでしょう. So you can't necessarily say that everyone who went to university is good at studying, I think. So that I think is the でしょう. And we have a noun, so 人たち. So we're modifying that with である. You wouldn't necessarily need it, but you can have it. It makes it a little bit more formal. So 大学に, so in university. 行った全員, so everyone that went to university が, so we're emphasizing those people, they're the subject. 勉強ができる人たち, so they're people that can study or are good at studying. It means they're good at studying, basically, or they're smart, is what you could think of this as. である, so they are people who are smart or can study. とばかりは言えないでしょう. So I think that it's not always the case that people who went to university, or that everyone who went to university is smart. You could shorten it to mean that. Right here we have A and B talking. We have 都会は便利で楽しくて最高の場所だよ. Cities are convenient, fun, and the best places, you know. 家賃はすごく高いし、そうとばかりは言えないと思います. So rent is super expensive and stuff. So I don't think you can necessarily say that. So you have 都会は, so that's cities and the topic. 便利で楽しくて, so they're convenient. And, excuse me, for an adjective we use で for and instead of, excuse me, the て form, because, well, that is the て form of an adjective, really. 便利で楽しくて, so they're convenient and fun and 最高の場所だよ. They're the best place. Yo. B 君 responds, 家賃はすごく高いし. So the rent, 家賃 is extremely expensive and そうとばかりは言えないと思います. So I don't think you can necessarily say that. So what that so is signifying is right here. It's signifying that sentence. I don't think you can necessarily say that. Particularly the 最高の場所だよ part. と思います. I think. Which brings us to the conversation. Let's get Yuki over here. お願いします. We'll read it full speed one time. No, we'll read it slowly one time, then at full speed, and then we'll break it down for you. はい。
なんだ、教えてくれないのか。
いや、
教えてくれないなら乗せていくことを考え直そうかな。
実は C さんに会う予定なんだよ。
はあ？ C さんとデートを？
二人で何かすることはデートだとばかりは言えないと思うけど。はい、full speed。はい。
なんだ、教えてくれないのか？
いや、
教えてくれないなら乗せていくことを考え直そうかな。
実は C さんに会う予定なんだよ。
はあ ?C さんとデートを
二人で何かすることはデートだとばかりは言えないと思うけど。
ゴゴゴゴゴゴゴゴ。ち
はい
なみにこのゴゴゴはジョジョです。
と思いましたよ。
みんな知ってるゴゴ
知ってるでしょう。
これを口で言ってる人は初めて見ました。
はい。Let's go ahead and break it down. We have
なんだ、教えてくれないのか。
What? You're not gonna tell me? なんだ What? 教えてくれないのか You're not gonna tell me?
いや、
No, or it's not that.
教えてくれないなら乗せていくことを考え直そうかな。
If you're not gonna tell me, I guess maybe I'll rethink my decision to take you in. So 教えてくれない So if you won't tell なら So if it's true you're not gonna tell me 乗せていくこと So the thing which is taking you in to town を考え直そうかな I think maybe I'll rethink that.
ねえねえ、そのチラってなんていうの英語で。
There's nothing in English for チラ
なんか
or for go 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 go. There's nothing.
そう
We don't have those types of words. It's an
あ、そうですか。
unfortunate fact of English
あ
and a
ー
wonderful feature of Japanese.
あ、そうなんだ。
はい。チラ
実は C さん、あ、これはちょっとあれだね。実は C さんに会う予定なんだよ。
The truth is, I have a plan to meet C. Actually. 実は so the truth is, or honestly. C さんに so in the direction of C さん, who we were talking about in the first section. 会う予定 So I have a plan to meet C. なんだよ actually. は
はあ ?C さんとデートを
What? With C? A date? は is what? C さんと with C? デート A date? はい。
二人で何かすることはデートだとばかりは言えないと思うけど。
You can't necessarily say that two people doing something together is a date, I think, but so 二人で so together as a two, a pair. 何かする so doing something こと so the thing which is doing something together as a pair はデートだ is a date とばかりは言えない You can't always say that or you can't necessarily say that と思うけど I think, but and that's that. Question time.
はい。〇〇は健康にいい、悪い、some adjectives とばかりは言えないと思っているあなたの意見を教えてください。
So please tell us something that you think is not always necessarily bad or not always necessarily good for health. And you can use this pattern. Something something は健康に good or bad. いい、悪いとばかりは言えない。と思う。For example.
はい。卵のコレステロールは健康に悪いとばかりは言えないと思います。
So 卵のコレステロール。So cholesterol from eggs or egg cholesterol は、健康に悪い。So it's bad for health とばかりは言えないと思います。I think you can't always say that.
食物繊維は健康にいいとばかりは言えないと思います。
So 食物繊維 is dietary fiber は direct as the topic, emphasizing this part. 健康にいい so it's good for health とばかりは言えない。You can't always say that と思います。I think. So how about you guys?
はい
We've already got one from MS. All right, thank you.
はい。運動するのは健康にいいとばかりは言えないと思う。運動しすぎることもあるでしょう。
そうですよね。That's something that I do very frequently. I go way too hard and then I have a miserable 2 days because of it. So I agree 153%. はい。I think that was just a typo, but Yuki mentioned in your final sentence, 運動しすぎることもあるでしょう. So probably just a typo there.
はい。
Right, good sentence. So translating it just for while we wait for other people, and I don't know if I did that yet, but 運動するのは so the thing which is doing exercise は健康にいい so it's good for health とばかりは言えないと思う so I think you can't necessarily say that 運動しすぎること so the thing which is exercising too much もあるでしょう that's also a thing, isn't it?
はい。
And yeah, it is. I've injured myself way too many times because of that.
同意します。
私も
アンディは何かありますか？
水をたくさん飲むことは健康にいいとばかりは言えないと思います。
そうですね。
There is such a thing as drinking too much water.
はい。
ユキはクワンタの後かな。ごめん。はい、クワンタお願いします。
はい。人に喋りたくない感じが悪いとばかりは言えないと思います。
Okay, a little bit different from the Kenko part, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So, not wanting, the feeling of not wanting, 喋りたくない, not wanting to talk to people is not necessarily a bad thing, I think. I agree. It's not necessarily bad to not want to talk to people sometimes. It's perfectly fine.
まあ私もよくしちゃうやつですね、それ。
I have that feeling far too often.
あ、そう
A lot. Do not feel like talking to people for like a month sometimes. For sure. はい。
はい。5時だったんだ。
そう大丈夫ですよ。
はい。はい、ルンビー。犬と猫はお互い好きじゃないとばかりは言えない。おばさんは犬を3匹と猫を2匹持っている。飼っているか持っているね。
動物園みたい。
動物園みたい。
すごい。そう、犬と猫は、so that's correct. お互い好きじゃないとばかりは言えない。You can't always say that dogs and cats don't like each other. おばあちゃんは、so my grandmother has お
ばあさんだから多分ランダムオールドレイディなんじゃないか、
or his aunt. Okay, so his aunt. His aunt は犬3匹。So you want to, yeah, 犬3匹。3匹。Biki is the picky or hiki or biki, depending on the number, is the counter for animals, small animals. So 3匹。It would be written like this. 3匹。3匹と、where was it?
猫
2匹。2匹。It becomes hiki for two. So one is 1匹。2匹。3匹、4匹、5匹、6匹、7匹、8匹、8匹、9匹、10匹。You just sort of have to memorize those. But they're all the same for most of the counters that have that kind of, yeah. はい、
小さいなんかペットになる
ア
ニマルたちは匹かなが多いかな。
はい。を持っている。Yeah. So you could say that, or you could, usually for pets, when someone owns a pet, we'll use the verb 飼う。ね、飼う right here. 飼う。So 飼っている。Wrong 漢字。飼っている。is what you would want to say there. But 持っている is fine since you didn't know that verb, which, so there's no problem there. 動物園みたい。Perfect. Nice. はい。Violin guys, a question time. We have.
いいな。猫が隣人の庭でうんちするのは悪いとばかりは言えないと思ってる。植物にとってめっちゃいい肥料だよ。めっちゃいい肥料だよ。
まあ、確かにそう。だけれど、
まあね、
そのうんちを踏むとき、そればかりは考えられないと思いますね。
でもさ、猫さんだったらさ、このなんかカバーしていくんじゃないちゃんと。
のふりをするよね。こうやって。
そうか、土が柔らかくないとしてくれないんだ。
柔らかくない、いや、そう、柔らかくない限り
してくれないんだ。
できない。
ふりしてるだけなんだ。
My old cat, one of my first cats when I was a little kid, his name was Izzy. And we had a walkway up to my house. My stepdad made it was like little tiles, I don't know, slates. So a little slate walkway, just one at a time. So they were spaced like a step apart up to my house. And the cat would intentionally poop right in the middle of them because he knew we would step in it. He was a one time we went away for a week on vacation and we left him plenty of food and water and everything. And I think we had someone come check on him every couple of days. And from that time, he hated us ever since then. He pooped all over the house that while we were gone that time, like intentionally. And sometimes in the house, he would go up to his litter box. He'd turn around, look at us next to the litter box and poop and then walk away. And then sometimes he'd leave, like he'd do it right on the slates, like in the walkway up. And people would step in it all the time. Like he would do it at night or something, like just to...
ひどい。
I love that cat, but he did not love us. Which is pretty funny.
そん
Anyway,
なことある
そう、そんなことあった。
うんち攻撃してくるんだ、みんな。
Yes, counters are very helpful, Lumpy. All right, we have a few more from. First one is Waluigi. Waluigi
あ、悪い
Waston.
字から来
Could
てる。
city also mean machi, or is it tokai? Is there a difference? Machi can also be used for a large town or a big city. Yeah, machi. Machi ni ikimasu.
まあ、ダウンタウンのことも町だし、
Yeah, downtown is machi.
そう、町の
Tokai is
方が
like
もっと
cities as a thing. Like, think of a city, and that's tokai. But going to town, you could use for going into the city or whatever. I'm going to go into town. Machi ni ikimasu. Toka.
うん、そうだ
Either
ね。
way is fine.
シティ、なんか都会って聞くともっと、なんか東京とか、大阪、
So.
ニューヨーク、
Big cities.
ロサンゼル
Big
ス
time
っ
cities.
て感じ
Yeah.
がするけど、
So.
町だと、
長野
なんかそうそう。
A little bit smaller. But
かな
you could still call them cities. Like where we live is a city, but we could also call it a machi, which is no problem.
うん。
Vin Fox has a cue time.
はい。果物を食べるのは健康にいいとばかりは言えないと思う。例えば、いちごを食べ過ぎた後でお腹が痛いかもしれない。
そうだよね。そういうこともあるんだね。
確かにね。
The only thing you want to change there is 食べ過ぎた後 or 食べ過ぎた時. Yeah, eating too much fruit could be a bad thing. Also very high in calories compared to other like vegetables and stuff. So
まあ
not always necessarily a good thing. Agreed.
ねえ、でも食べたいよね。
We eat a lot of fruit. Hi, Michael has a cue time. What's
Hi.
going on, Michael? Good to see you.
ねえ、久しぶり。はい。事実を必ず言うのはいいことばかりは言えないと思います。ですが、この話題については他人の意見をもっと聞きたいです。
はい、わかりましたね。はい、so without so just saying the truth out loud, just the truth, 事実を言うのは良いとばかりは言えない。You can't always say that just saying the truth is a good thing. ですが、この話題について about this topic, I'd like to ask the opinion of others. So Michael would like the opinion of others, whether just saying the truth all the time is not necessarily a good thing or not. I agree.
そうだよね。
But I'm bad at it. I have a tendency to say exactly what I'm thinking when I'm thinking it.
ね、Me too なんですよ。私たちハーシだもんね。
But we're pretty harsh, yeah.
ね、ここが
We're
ま
harsh
ず
with each other,
そう
pretty much. Like if I think something, I was like, that's a bad idea. I'll say that's a bad idea.
で、
If she thinks so, she'll say it's a bad idea. But it's good. It can be good. But it probably isn't a bad idea to hold back every once in a while, especially if it's just not necessary. Some people just don't want to hear it as well. Some people don't want to know the truth. A lot of people don't.
ね。
A lot of people don't want to know.
私もあんまり聞きたくないけど、でも言っちゃうんだよ。
そう
最悪のパターンだよ。
言っちゃいます。言っちゃいます。性格はそうだから、ね。
ほんとひどい。アンディもほんとひどいこと言うんだよ、なんか。
そうそう、たまにね。
って思うんだけど、でも事実だよとか言って。
そうそうそう。Not the best part of my personality, for sure.
ね。
But yeah, when you think people would rather not hear the truth, it's sometimes better to just stay silent. Not necessarily tell a lie, but just you don't have to say anything.
はい。
はい、Malkov Maxim.
はい。面白いゲームをすることは子供に悪いとばかりは言えない言えないでしょう。
そう。
ばかり
面白い
は
ゲームをすることは
かな。
子供に悪いとばかりは言えないでしょう。
このフレーズがとばかりは言えないだ
Yeah,
から。
the whole grammatical phrase is とばかりは言えない。So you just want to have that wa particle there. But yeah, agreed. Letting your kids play interesting games or fun games is not necessarily always bad.
あ、でもそのはドロップオフできんのかな。悪いとばかり言えないでしょう。
Probably.
あ、でも
You can probably
大
drop it
丈
off.
夫。大丈夫感もある気がする。
It feels fine probably without it. But just keep in mind that technically it's there. Violin guy, our cat sleeps in the litter box, so I have no choice but letting the neighbors stuff. Gotta change your litter. Clarin, key time.
はい。 10時間以上寝るのは健康にいいとばかりは言えない。
In fact, it's probably actually very bad for you.
もう
10時間以上, so sleeping more than 10 hours you can't necessarily say is good for you. Apparently it's very bad for you actually. I read somewhere that the chances of death from all causes
やばい。
are the same if you sleep more than 9 hours
うんうん
as if you sleep less than 5, I think, or 6. Maybe less than 6 and more than 9 is the same exact amount of chance of death from all causes. So sleeping too much is just as bad as sleeping too little.
ね
It's like you got to hit that perfect balance between 6 and probably 8 hours. Too much over 8 is probably even too much. But I have a hard time existing in the world on less than 7 hours of sleep. Like I
うん
I can't function. I can't
そう
speak.
だよね。
I'm very weak to
Me too
lack of
です
sleep. Yeah. Especially if I actually have to do something. If I just have to exist, it's fine. But if I actually have to do stuff like work, not great situation. But I disagree.
え
I think you're fine with little sleep. You seem to work fine without any sleep. You have no problems.
そう
But you have a hard time waking up. That's all. You're fine with little sleep. You just don't want to wake up. It's different.
あ、マイコ、こういうのですよ。実は
This is the thing. I say the truth.
ほら、なんか私だって辛い思いをしてるのに
それが
眠
辛い
く
かな
て。
褒めてるんじゃないなんとなく。
ほら、
褒めてるかな Because I feel like you're really good at working
ひでえ。
even if you're tired. Like even on little sleep, I don't notice many changes in your attitude. Like some people like me, I get really
でも
grumpy if
さ、
I don't
目
have
が
much
開い
sleep.
てるからといってアウェイクだとは思わないでほしい。アウェイの場合もある。
Of course. Maybe focus is a little bit difficult, but like mood, you don't have mood changes because you didn't sleep much.
まあそう
Like
だ
I
よ
have
ね。
mood changes when I don't sleep enough.
ロボッ
I
ト
get
の
grumpy. You're
No.
fine. This is normal, right?
うん。
But I get grumpy when I don't have enough sleep, which I'd like to fix about myself. But what can you do? All right. Wilhelm Bergevist.
はいたくさん働くのは健康にいいとばかり言えないでしょう。
そうですね。You don't need the ni particle after たくさん because it's an adverb which can directly modify a verb. So たくさん働くことは or のは健康にいいとばかりは言えない or とばかり言えないでしょう。Yes, so I don't think working too much or a lot is necessarily good for health. Probably not. I will never tell the truth about my cat's horrible habits to my neighbors. Oh, if they're not noticing, I guess it's fine. Oops,
大丈夫
forgot
だよ。
the は in とばかりは言えない。No problem. はい。
そう、そのね、猫さんは隠しとかないとね。知らんふりしとけばね。そう、バレないから。
All right. Maybe Violin Guy is actually our neighbor.
私たち家に。
That'd be funny.
マ
He's
ジ
right
超
over there in the apartment out back.
立派なやつだったんでしょおとといのやつは。
そう、すごかった。結構フレッシュだったし。I'm in there with a weed whacker and I just nailed the friggin' giant cat dropping.
ひ
Boom!
どい
Ah, that didn't hit me, did it? No, I'm safe. Okay.
バイオリン街のさ、とこから出発して。
The plot thickens, says MS. Indeed. All right, let's drop this thing down here, right here. We've got thumbs up を攻撃してください. Please smash the thumbs up button. It really does help. We really do appreciate it. If you hated the stream, you can hit the thumbs down, but make sure you hit it twice because otherwise it doesn't count. In my book. チャンネル登録お願いします. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell if you haven't already so you know when we go live next time.
そう。よろしくお願いします。
お願いします。
でも来週は、あ、そうか、11-4だから、まだ。
So,
来
next
週
week
は
we have 11 part 4. Only 2 sections that are simpler on the surface. Like they look simpler, but they're less clear. There's less clear English that you can translate them into. Next week's to suru and to noun demo. So those are going to be fun, of course. Come to Japan Dan says, hit up ToKini.com and check out all our content over there. Yes, appreciate that.
はい
Thank you very much for sponsoring this live stream. Members of ToKini.com as well. I'm so waiting for our neighbors to strike back sometime. It could happen. One day they're just going to start throwing them back over with their shovel. Like my grandparent, like we let the dogs out back at my grandparents' house, and once a week we have to go out there and just scoop it all up, throw it over into the woods. But luckily they have a forest out back, so they can throw it out back. Gosh, I feel bad for anyone who ever has to walk through that forest someday. Although it's probably a very
その時にはちゃ
green
んと
forest.
さ、
Yeah, it's all
ファー
turned
タ
into mulch
ファーティ
ね。
ライズされて、
そうだね。
ファーティライズだっけそれ。
Yeah, basically it becomes fertilizer. Dashiell Baker, arigato. I've been a little bit busy this lesson, so I couldn't answer only one question, but I was able to listen the whole time. Thanks a lot, Dashiell. Appreciate that.
はい。
Thanks for hanging out,
ね。
and I hope you can finish up whatever you're busy with, and
みんな忙
get
し
some
い
rest.
んだな。
Thank you so much for the wonderful lesson. Thank you so much for the
はい。
wonderful comments, Violin Guy. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます、リンピー。俺も楽しかったです。You're welcome, MS.
ね。
こちらこそ、クワンタさん。Thank you for the
みんな
lesson.
も
You're welcome,
ね、
Claren.
みんなもね、庭があったら、猫のうんち気をつけてくだ
そ
さい。
う、Violin Guy might be attacking you guys.
そう。
Dropping mines.
そうだよ。
ワルージ、ありがとうございます。こちらこそ、ありがとうございます。マガマクセもお疲れ様でした。
お疲れ様でした。ね。
はい。
そう。
ではでは、So, once again, just to remind you guys, for those of you who are members, once again, the stream cut usually comes out tomorrow afternoon, but because I have a friend coming up for a couple days, it will not probably be out until, and I have a wedding to go to on Wednesday night. It probably will not be out until Friday, unfortunately, this
まあ
week.
ね、
So it's going to be
私た
delayed.
ちのじゃないけどね。
Not our wedding, unfortunately, no. Our friend's wedding party. So yeah, we're going to be sort of out for most of this week, which is why we didn't take any time off this weekend. So, but next Sunday will be lesson 11 part 4 as usually scheduled. So no worries there.
はい。それアナウンスするんだよね。もうアナウンスした？
何が？
ウェブサイトにもアナウンスするんだよね。
People actually on the website haven't been watching those more. It's more on YouTube, so it shouldn't be an issue. I'm probably not going to make a big announcement about it. I put it at the beginning of this lesson and at the end, so it should be fine. I probably won't write a whole announcement. I might mention it in Discord, but anyway. All right. Thanks for hanging out tonight, guys.
はい。
And こちらこそ Wilhelm, ありがとうございます。Oh, we got some German going on in chat. That's fine. It's fine. All right, guys. Have a great week, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week for the conclusion of lesson 11, after which we've only got 4 lessons left in all of Quartet 2. And then it'll be talking about where we go next with this live stream, or what we're going to be doing after that. Probably move on to game streams for a little while, but we'll see.
ねえ、もうさ、毎回ゲームストリームやるよ詐欺だよ
No,
ね。
no. I said after we finish Quartet. After we finish Quartet is when we might consider doing some more game streams, is what I said. So, all right, guys.
はい。
Have a great week, and we will see you next time.
はい。
また次のビデオで会いましょうね。
はい。あ、Bring Back Yakuza って書いてあるよ。
Yeah, I gotta play that game. I need to finish that game. I really enjoyed that. I will play Yakuza again on stream one of these days. All right. Have a good week, guys. Thanks a lot. See you later.
お疲れ様です。
お疲れ様でした。
またね。
Planning to use these books to learn Japanese in 2022?
We explain all the grammar from these books and more here on YouTube in detail. And on ToKiniAndy.com, we have tons of extra grammar explanations, interactive practice exercises with Yuki and I, native shadowing exercises so you can get practice speaking even when you're by yourself, tests, and even progress bars to track your progress through the book. We also plan on beginning to add tons of level-appropriate immersion material throughout 2022. We even have a new exclusive community for members where they can ask questions, help each other, and even play silly Japanese word games. Over 1,800 people have already utilized the ToKini Andy and Yuki premium content. Join the community today and kickstart your Japanese learning journey.